everybody. What's up? How y'all been doing? I'm so excited. Look at here. We got another chunk. It came from that one log that I have. I've gotten 4 pieces out of it. 4 big chunks, okay? So that's making a lot of stuff with cedar. And if you went and had to buy this stuff, you'd be spending some money. So I'm very excited. It's Charles, or CH. Okay. His abbreviations are CH, but his handle name is Charles Hogan. Anyway, so that CH gave me, okay? So I'm just so thankful to him. That's why I made that bird feeder for him when he asked about making a bird feeder. And I was like, you betcha, I'll make you a bird feeder. I'm so thankful that you gave me this wood. So anyway, we are going to make, this is segueing from the bird feeder, and it segues into the birdhouse. We are making a birdhouse. And guess who we're making a birdhouse for? You bet. Dish Outdoors. That's right. We're making a birdhouse for her. So anyway, regardless, we're gonna make our bird house. I just, I've been thinking about this for a long time, and making a birdhouse. And I thought, well, who better to give a birdhouse to than Dish Outdoors? That's right, and it goes with her name too, right? She's a wonderful lady. She's a beautiful soul. She's a wonderful person. I thoroughly enjoy her coming to my channel. I'm so glad she comes here. Anyway, we're gonna get right to it. We're gonna turn it. I gotta rough it out, so I have to round it. Look at that knot. Can you see that knot? Isn't that beautiful? It's kind of hard to see at night. It's at nighttime now, so things are a little bit not as nice and easy on the eyes to see things. But that's okay. We're going to get right to it and we'll rough it out. Let's go. Let's do this. This is awesome. This is fun. This is exciting. This is something I jump for joy with. All right, and I'll be back. I have it on there. I had a kind of like a shim or something, I reckon you can say. I had this on there because I didn't want the screws to go quite so deep, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead. I put the screws directly into the wood so it'll go deeper, and hopefully they'll hold. If they don't, I got some longer screws. That'll work, but hopefully they'll hold. We can get this done. I got to get this smoothed out some so it's not so vibrating and wobbly, okay? So we're going to continue roughing it out. And it's being a pain. It's being a big pain, and it's making him come loose with the screws, so I might have to put some longer screws in there. All right, and I'll be back because I got to re-screw it again. Okay, since this piece is big around, I'm going to put the hole in here, and I'll make the tenon on this. So I'll make the tenon on this to fit onto there in that hole, okay? That's what we'll do, so I can form the top part of the birdhouse. We can have the finial and that, and I have enough wood that I can mount it on the chuck. Okay, I just want to form a tenon for the moment. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Okay, let me put this on the tenon. We'll take this off, put it on tenon. Put it on the chuck, excuse me. This is the tenon. Duh. Gee, I don't think right sometimes. I get my mind on other things, I reckon. Let's see. There. Okay, I'm going to glue this on. I had to do it again because it was not flat. It was slight bevel coming out. And that's not good because that means that this is not going to sit flat on there. I need that to sit flat. So we're going to go ahead and glue it on now. I'm going to use regular Loctite. Not Loctite. I'm going to use Bond 3. The Type Bond, excuse me. So anyway, I'm going to use the Type Bond 3. That's normally the glue that I buy and I use. So we're going to put that on there and let it dry a while. Okay? Then we'll get back to it later. Here's this chunk of wood. I tried to cut down just a little bit. My chainsaw died, so I gave up a little. I think I got it just enough. I can put it on the lathe and get it down because this will be the house part itself. And I think I need to go ahead and get this going, get it round before I get all this going. Okay, I have it on here. I want you to look at these knots here. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. That's gorgeous. You have your white part of this cedar wood. That's very fascinating to me. Cedar is some beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Okay, let's see. I need to make a tenon, but before I do that, I'm going to see if I can knock this off a little bit so it's not running quite so rough. All right, I roughed this out and I got to thinking, you know what? I had better do I better investigate about all this because you know what? There's more to it than meets the eye. There really is. When you have to have correct dimensions. And the reason why is because of predators and they need a private sanctuary or a dwelling, whatever you want to call it. They need to be safe, and they need to be covered from the elements of the rain. What I'm getting at is when I did my research, first of all, you don't need a perch. That is not good. That's just for looks, okay? A real birdhouse does not need a perch because that right there will invite predators. Second of all, the tube has to be so long. The hole has to be so round. Has to be a certain width for certain kinds of birds. Now this is going to be a bigger birdhouse, so I'm going to make I'm just going to make a 1 1/4 inch hole. Now the hole has to be down so far from the, how would you say, the ceiling of the roof. I got something in my fingernails. The tube itself needs to be, from the one I'm making, I mean, you can make them smaller, but the one I'm making is going to be about 12-inch tall tube. The inside, so that, you know, it's snug in there for the mommy or whatever. I don't know if mommy and daddy go in there or what, but the mom to have her babies. It's not too tight and tight, you know, tight quarters that she's, you know, the babies don't have enough room or something, for all I know. So that needs to be on the inside of the tube at least 4 to 5 inches wide. So the hole from the roof from the ceiling of the roof to the hole is 4 to 5 inches. We established that. And then the tube needs to be about 12 inches, okay? So, all these things I have to measure, and I had no idea I had to measure that stuff. I thought that, oh, I can just turn it, looks great, it's done, it's a birdhouse. No, it's not. So, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye, like I said a couple of minutes ago. So, we have to establish safety, private sanctuary for the mommy and the babies, and from predators and all. We have to have that safety and security and comfort from the elements, basically. I reckon, I don't know what you call them, people who study about birds and know all about birds, they came to these conclusions studying nature and how birds dwell and all that stuff. So that's where we get all that from. So, we're going to have that private sanctuary built. Now, I don't know how big this is. I might have to just take this whole thing off and get another piece of wood. This may not be wide enough. It may not be long enough. I do not know. I have to measure it, and I got to find my caliper, which I always lose every time. So, I'll be right back. That's wow. That's just wow. This tube is not long enough at all. And I don't know. Let's see how wide it is. Oh gosh, it has to be way wider than I thought. Oh my goodness. So, I got to find out the dimensions and I'll be back, okay? Okay, from what it is saying, for a smaller birdhouse, I need to have it hollowed out to at least 4 inches across. Then this is for eastern bluebirds, birds, and nuthatchers. I don't even know how to pronounce that word. For the length of the tube, it has to be at least 8 to 12 inches tall. And this is not tall enough, so I'm going to have to take it off and put something else on there. Isn't that something? So, the hole has to be a 1 1/4 inch and about 6 inches up from the inside floor. Wow. The thickness of the walls needs to be at least 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch thick. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so, I told you, there's more to it than meets the eye, isn't there? So, I'm going to have to take this off. I can use it for something else later. I thought I was getting it going, but I was not. I'm glad I stopped, did some research, asked some questions, found out you have to have the proper measurements. Or they're not going to dwell in there. They're not going to. They have to feel safe and secure. Okay. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to find another piece and cut it down a little bit with the chainsaw if I have to, and see what we can do. Alright, I have a really big log here. It's not as big as what I use to make the roof of the bird feeder and stuff like that, and what I have that I have for the roof that I'm going to make for the birdhouse, okay? It's not like 13 inches round, okay? But I cut off these areas so I can kind of get it more round. And now I need to measure it and see what's going on here and see what I need to cut off, because that is more than 12 inches, I'm sure. All right, let's walk out here. I got the measuring tape. Okay, the smaller birdhouse would be 8 to 12 inches tall. I need to leave a little bit more room to wow, that's just long. Even 8 inches is pretty long. Wow. I am shocked. I am stunned. If it's 12 inches, it could go way down here. Wow, that'd be big. Gee. Wow, that's much bigger than I thought. Let's make it about 10 inches. Okay, I'll do that in a minute. It has to be, oh, I forgot how wide it has to be. So it's saying it needs to be 6 inches wide, 10 to 12 inches tall. That is a big tube. That is not small. Wow. Okay. So we established we can make 6 inch wide wall, because this right here needs to probably be cut off. Best that I can do. So what I'll do, I don't have to worry about it cutting that area off, because I'm going to have to cut it off at 10 to 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off right here. Wow, that's big. I cannot get over that. That's shocking to me. That's very shocking. Okay, this big chunk I got to put on the lathe. Isn't that something? That is huge. And I am not going to sit here filming for a whole hour trying to rough this thing out. So I'm just going to cut that area out of the video, okay? Because I don't want to bore you sitting here roughing it out for a whole hour. Because this thing's going to take a while to rough out. It is heavy. So anyway, I'll be back as soon as I get all that done, hopefully. We can get it going. And I got to open it up, and that's going to be a job. Okay, and I'll see y'all then. I'm just drilling holes in it. I have to drill holes in it. I already have 2 screws in. I thought I would just go ahead and film it in case somebody tries to attempt to do it themselves and they want to see what I'm doing. So I'm using some longer screws on this, because this is a long log. They're probably twice as long. And I don't know that I have the right screws. It's just some deck screws and stuff that I bought a long time ago. And I'm using these screws instead. The other ones were probably about a little over halfway as long. Maybe, yeah, a little over halfway as long. So they're not as long. So, you know, we need something to hold this. I already drilled a little bit of a hole in there to get started. Not that they need it. Where's my other screw? So, well, that ain't gonna work, is it? Ugh, that's so silly. Golly. I can't do anything right sometimes. I did it the wrong direction. It doesn't want to come out. Come on, let go. Come on. Let go. Well, at least we know it fits. That's for sure. All right, I got the faceplate in. That's going to be the best thing to use. Crap all over me. So I got the faceplate on there. Oh, I got that in there still. I'll have to get it out in a minute. Okay, and I'll join back with you as soon as it's roughed out, and hopefully I can get it to that point. Because this is a big log, okay? This is a big log for my midi lathe, but it will fit on there, so we'll see. And I got it at the lowest speed. The lowest speed is... What's the lowest speed? 250. So it's going to be turning at 250. That's very low. And it has to turn at that speed because it will make my lathe bounce all over the carport and shake my stuff up. Okay, we don't need that. That can hurt somebody. So yeah, we don't need it at a high speed vibrating so hard that it knocks my neighbor's house down or something. Be bouncing all around. Flying all up in the air, bouncing across my carport over my neighbor's garage. But seriously, we don't need it at a high speed at all. I mean, that's extremely dangerous. This is not a big lathe at all. So anyway, I'll be back and we'll get this roughed out and we'll get going. It's gonna take me a little while. These knots right here slow me down too. These big old knots. All right, what I did is I got a screen and I filtered some of the wood shaving stuff or the finer sawdust through it so I can get it finer right here. So I filtered it through. Ooh, that's hot. And I soaked it with some. I put copious amount of the Loctite glue on there, okay? So I put that on there. It's drying up in those spots. And so I'm glad because I don't want to have it going in like that. I don't like that. I want it to be nice and round cylinder, excuse me. There's a spot here and here. I don't know if I think I have enough. I'll fill these spots in real quick. Get this taken care of. So that we will have a nice round cylinder. And it'll be a darker area there, but that's okay because we got knots that are darker than the wood, right? It will look just fine. It'll be fine. So, just one of those things. We're going to make this beautiful. Now, I do not know how I'm going to get a hole in it. That's a mighty long piece, right? And I need to make the end. I'm not overly concerned about the very end because this is more than 10 inches, I think. And I wanted to have enough to put it inside of the roof of the bird house so that it doesn't take away from how long this is. It's a mighty long piece of wood. Wow, this is the biggest project. This is the biggest project I've ever done. This is a huge piece of wood. And I hadn't even, and you know, this over here is big. That's big, and I don't have to be brought down for the roof of the birdhouse. That's kind of heavy. That on top of this, that's big. That's big stuff. That's the biggest stuff I've ever made. That's amazing. That's challenging, but that's cool. I like that. I like to have new and challenging things to make, or to do, or to draw in art, or whatever. You know, I used to draw a lot. I think I've told y'all that, my regulars anyway. So, you know, I love, you know, people's portraits and stuff. So I've drawn people's portraits, but I got tired of doing that. I just got kind of bored with it over the years. I just don't feel like doing that anymore. I don't care about it. I probably can't do as well as I used to. I mean, I understand shadowing and all that stuff. I understand all that stuff. And so, anyway, I love wood turning. It's fascinating. Some cool stuff you can make with wood. Wood is some beautiful stuff. Very beautiful. Let us see. Measure this. Wow, it's got to be so long. Gee. It's right at 6 inches. Right there. Now I'm going to form the tenon. Go ahead and mark it over here. This marker's had it. I've messed it up. I can use this Sharpie. Wow, I don't think I'm gonna be able to reach in that deep. I may have to. Oh, I forgot to put it on there. That's gonna be mighty big. I wonder if that's right. That's a big hole. It's a mighty big hole. I only have so big of a Forstner bit, and it's only going to go so far in there. So, I'm trying to think about what I need to do. What am I going to do? Do I have to cut this in half and do it in halves? Wow. Wow, that is so long. It's a nice thick bird feeder though, so if it falls on the ground, it's not going to break. You can have it, I can have it a little less than that if I want to. I don't have to have it a full inch. I was brainstorming and I asked LP, because he's up here doing his videos, and I asked him what he thought I should do, because this is way too long for me to really get to the other end. He said just go as far as I could, cut it off. I mean, I was thinking about this too earlier. I just don't want to have to cut it off. I'll have to probably cut it off, the other part, and then have it to where I can glue it back on there. That's all I know to do at this point. This is extremely long, and I didn't know it's going to be that long, and I don't know what it's going to do if I take the tailstock off neither. Let's put it down, all the way down to low speed. might, that's the key word, might be able to get it all the way through. Because this is a long tool right here. This is long. I'm glad I got it. I'm glad I remembered about it. I forgot all about it. Because I haven't been using it that much yet. I have not had to. My camera's fixing to die on me. Anyway, this is what I decided to do. Okay, I'm sanding it up. I'll sand some more up later. There was a couple of cracks I had to fill in with some sawdust, and I'll smooth that back out later. I'm not worried about it right now. I smoothed it out some on the inside. I'm not worried about it being 100% smooth. So anyway, I have it a little over a halfway through the tube. Let's see. If I were to take, let's move this out of the way. If I were to take this bowl gouge, put it right there. Okay. So it's a little over, it's almost 3/4 of the way down. Almost, not quite. And I tell you what, that's hard to do. That right there will make you sweat. That right there is a lot of hard work. And you don't want to get catches neither. I had one pop, and fortunately, it hit the side of my head on, not my eye, but over from my, on the side of my head a little bit. Knocked my glasses off because I had just taken my shield off because of you know, there was condensation on my glasses and stuff, and I thought, well, let me just take my shield off for a moment. And that was a big mistake because it popped me in the head a little bit with the handle, with this handle of the bowl gouge. Well, I tell you what, you get way deep down in there, that thing hits something wrong and it can really pop. That handle can go flying up in your face. So I was very fortunate it didn't hit my eye or something. Anyway, don't have a heart attack out there, okay? So anyway, it's a lot of work, is what I'm saying. A lot of work to have to sit there. You're holding that, and it gets tiresome. And I was sweating, I tell you. It's getting warm out here anyway, so. All right. I went ahead and put this back on because I'm going to shape it some. But before I do, I'm going to go ahead and mark it 6 inches across, because when I have the tube finished, I'm going to have to put it on here. I'll recess it in there a little bit. Now, the only problem I foresee already is that the birdhouse is going to be kind of heavy. But the good thing is, if it's, you know, the elements outside, the wind or what have you, if it falls on the ground, it probably is not going to break. Right? So anyway, I'm just going to mark it, and we're going to go from there. Oh, let's see. So anyway, I did read up something I didn't know about. I need to put ventilation holes in there. In the birdhouse, in the house part, up near the ceiling of the roof on the tube, but I have to slant them where they're, when I put holes in it, slant them down, so if it rains or something, it doesn't go in the holes so well, or so easily. And that's strange. Strange stuff, I tell you. Now, cracks have kind of formed a little bit in a couple of places. Here is the main one later on. So I just have to keep an eye on this thing and make sure it's okay, because this is beautiful wood. This is very beautiful, and it's soft. It's very soft. It's very silky soft. That wood is beautiful stuff. Let's see. Let's go ahead and see if we can make the top finial part. I'm not going to make anything real fancy, but I need to finish it so we can get it off of here and then get the tube back on here and start working on the other end and opening it all the way up. That's my main concern right there. We got to open it up. That's not easy right there. That is not easy, and I don't know if I can get it running true or not. That's another concern I have. So we're gonna get it done somehow or another. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? And I'm willing. Are you?
I'm ready.
It should be able to come. It's free. It's moving freely now. It came off. Now I'll smooth that out at the tip a little bit. I burned it a little bit, made it darker. Hey, that's okay. It looks beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. Man, that's beautiful. Wow, that is impressive. So we got, I'll sand it up some more by hand. We got this opened up. I decided to put a hole in it. I did not film it. I decided to put a hole in it so it'd be a little bit lighter. It's not going to make much difference, but it's a little bit. Let's see. Well, this is the right size to fit the cylinder in. And now I got to put this back on so we can finish opening it up. And then I got to figure out how to do the bottom. Right? That's right. I got to figure out how to do the bottom because we got to close it up. Maybe round it off or something. What do you think? That is absolutely stunning. That is so gorgeous. All right, I just thought of something. I'm a dummy. Okay, this end needs to be closed up anyway. So what I'll do is get another piece of cedar. I'll cut it off a log and I'll shape it some, glue it on the end. I'll try to form a tenon on part of it. Glue it on, and hopefully we can go from there. And then I'll open up the other end. This will be closed. This will be the bottom. This will be the top going up to the roof. All right, that's what we'll do. All right, I thought about it. I had to go to work and everything, and I was thinking on and off about this, and I thought, well, what I can do is I don't have to make it big around. All I have to do is make it just as big as the hole. Okay? Man, this thing is big and heavy. I just about can't pick it up with my hand. Okay, I still have to. This will be the side that goes into the birdhouse. The birdhouse. I'm tired. I'm sorry. It's like 1 something in the morning. This is the side that's going to go on the ceiling of the roof of the house. Okay, this side. This side All right, move over. I can plug this side in. So instead of making, excuse me, I got a piece of coffee grind on in my mouth. Instead of making as big around as this is 6 inches across, all I have to do is make it from here to here, which is about 4 inches across, which will work out much better because this is messed up right here in this area, and I need to be able to just have this little area so I can plug it with this. So what I can do is go ahead and put this on separately on the spur drive, rough it out, bring it down to the size I need to fit it in the hole, and plug that hole. And then I can put a tenon on the end, I reckon. No, what I can do is plug it and let the rest of it hang out because it's thick. It's thick. So I can plug it some, not all the way, and leave the rest hanging out for a tenon. What do you think? I think we can do this. I think we can do this. So all I'm doing at this point, I decided to do this before I go to bed. I just wanted to see if I can get this going. Anyway, I'm just going to make a tenon here on this side so I can fit it on the chuck. And then I will smooth this out to make it fit inside the hole of the tube, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and continue to do this, and I'm not going to film this part, but I'm just letting you know what I'm doing so you know what's going on. Okay, we are in business. Instead of putting it on the chuck jaws, I can put the faceplate back on there, and that would be much better, I think. I don't know, because I just now saw this. It's the screw's gonna be close to the edge of this, so I don't know. That's a problem. A little bit. I might need to see how it does on the chuck jaws, and then see about putting on the faceplate if it just doesn't work out. Because these are long screws, and if I screw them in slanted like this instead of straight down, maybe that would be good. I think so. These are long screws too. The only problem is there'd be holes. But you know what? I was reading, I still haven't read it thoroughly yet. I've just skimmed over stuff, basically trying to get measurements with stuff, and I saw where you have to have these vent holes and stuff. And I think I said it earlier, but you have to have some at the bottom too. I didn't know all that, but it makes sense. I mean, you know, they build a nest and they're living in there and they're going to the bathroom and all that stuff. I mean, you have to have holes at the bottom so that all those, you know, fumes and gases and everything escape, okay? And they have clean air, and and then, so I gotta really do some more research about it. I had no idea about that stuff, but it makes sense. You know, you gotta have vent holes I don't know what they're called at the bottom. Maybe they're vent holes, but you gotta have some at the top, and I already told you about that. Because you don't want them, when it gets extremely hot, and it gets hot in there, you don't want them to cook to death. My goodness. Or freeze to death, or whatever. So we have to, I said we. Y'all are with me, right? I have to do some research and find out about this. So, anyway, I might try to screw the faceplate back on. We'll see. I just now woke up, and I'm trying to make me some coffee here, so I'm trying to wake up here. I got a lot of things to do. There's always so much to do. Screwman slanted is not going to go all the way in, but that's okay. I don't care. All right. I'll be back, okay? And I'll see what I'm going to do. All right, let me get this camera right. All right, I think we're in business. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. You know, sometimes, well, the good thing is I thought about it. And I was forced to think about it because I did not want to cut this thing in half. This thing is so long. I mean, and my bowl gouge is short. Of course, I don't know how to sharpen necessarily all the time. I don't know how to sharpen it properly sometimes. Anyway, this was much longer. This was much longer. And it would have reached down in there much deeper, but, well, it is what it is, right? So, the wonderful thing is that it forced me to brainstorm and try to figure out how to do this. And in all reality, I mean, all I had to do was just glue this wood in there, close this bottom up because it's got to be closed up anyway, right? And I don't know. I just didn't think about that. You know, my son, I'll sit there and I'll think about something like, for example, how to get a screw out of an area in, like, I've worked on cars a little bit, okay? I know more than changing the oil. I know how to do certain things and changing things out. And sometimes I've gone on YouTube, especially with my Audi. I have an Audi TT Quattro out there. So in order to change the parts, some of the parts, I'd go to YouTube videos and stuff and type in the questionnaire about how to change something out. And so it would show me the steps to do, and I couldn't get to certain things, or I couldn't do certain things, and because it's close quarters in there. I mean, you can barely get your hand in anywhere to get things changed out. It is just so tight. So anyway, regardless, the point I'm trying to make is, so I go to my son and I tell him about it. He'll go over there to help me out, and he does it just like that. I'm like, how did you know that? How did you think of that? You know, and I'm like, wow. You know, his brain is just wired differently than mine, I reckon. And he'll just think of something just like that and fix it where I don't know, I was going a long way around or something. You know, the tourist route or something, and he just took it straight forward and went right in and just fixed it. So anyway, that's the wonderful thing about my son. He's helped me so much in things, and I love my son. So anyway, we're going to see if we can open this up the rest of the way. Now there is a big crack right here. Now I was planning on cutting it off about right in here. I need to measure about 12 inches. Well, wait a minute. I need to measure how deep in it recesses in, it fits into the top. So I need to measure that. It's probably like right in here. About right in this area is my guess. But I don't want to guess at it. I will measure it. And I got to find my caliper. I can't find my caliper anywhere. I don't know where it went. It probably fell on the carport floor also. Excuse me. I had to get a sip of my coffee here. So I might cut it off a little bit. I might not. It just depends. I got to fill in this crack some. It's just trying to crack some more. It's trying to crack over here on that piece, but I ain't worried about that too much right now. I just want to focus on getting this opened up, and then we'll go from there, okay? We got it on. We got it back on. That's awesome. So I can try to open this on up. And that's aggravating too. I noticed my left, how would you say, from my the back side of my neck down to my, not quite to my collarbone, is sore. And I wonder if when I was going like this sideways, which is a kind of a odd angle to be, and I'm holding the bowl gouge, and the bowl gouge, I mean, you're gripping it hard because the power of it turning, and the bowl gouge is getting much deeper in there. It's hard to hold it. You got to really hold it firmly to make sure that it doesn't go popping out of your hand, because and if you hold the bowl gouge wrong in there, it will pop that handle back up at your face. What I'm getting at is, I think that being at that angle for an extended period of time, I'm not used to, and it just made my muscles sore on the side of my neck. So, but anyway, we're going to get this, and we'll be back, okay? All right, I'm mounting it differently on the lathe. Well, it's not even on the lathe now. It's behind the lathe, and the reason why, because this sticks out so far back that I can't have the tailstock on there. It's in the way of my arms and my elbows and stuff, so I have to just set this down way back here. So if it looks a little different, I apologize for the angle. I don't have a professional studio of some sort where I can hang video cameras up everywhere I want to, and you know, I don't have that convenience. I just do what I can do. I'm just how would you say, it's elementary, you know, all that I do. So I'm just someone who loves to wood turn, and this is what I have, and I'm truly blessed, and I'm thankful for it. So I'm not complaining, I'm not whining. I'd love to have those things, but I don't. So that's life, and that's the way it goes. Okay, I tried to shape it again with this piece to insert it. I'm not going to be able to insert it in there. I'm going to have to make a piece that fits on the outside of it and caps it. So I'm going to have to get another piece of cedar, and we'll do this again. I have to take this one off and put it to the side. I can use it for something else maybe. So that's what we're going to have to do. I have this piece on here. It's the lighter color cedar, but it doesn't matter because the tube is light in color. So I'm not worried about using the dark color cedar. We got the roof this dark in color, and that's beautiful. I'd like the whole thing to be in a dark color, but that's okay. We got the knots we have the knots in that lighter color of the tube. We have the knots here, and those are beautiful. Look at that big knot, and then that little knot. I mean, those are gorgeous. So we got some stuff going. We got some beautiful stuff going. I might bring it down just a tad more on the outside too. So first things first, we're gonna have to get this thing roughed out so I can try to cap this. It's got to be done. This thing is frustrating me. Alright, it's been sitting a few hours glued with regular glue back there. I'm not necessarily saying it's completely dry like it should be. It would be good to wait for 24 hours probably. I'm going to see if I can drill a hole in it with the Forstner bit. This is as big as a Forstner bit that I have. So we're going to see how it goes. It's coming apart. Coming apart. It's not gonna work. It's already coming apart. Doggone it. I may just take the Dremel and use it and open it on up. I hollowed it out the rest of the way with the Dremel. I put it back on here on the face plate. It's not running true. So what I'm going to do is use this roughing gouge. This is roughing gouge, okay? I'm going to use the roughing gouge and get it running true on the outside again. I had some cracks. I had big crack that went through there. When I put the end on there, I capped off the bottom. And I have to shape it later. But right now, what I want to do is get it running true again. This has been some rough stuff. This is not easy sometimes, but that's okay. That's part of the journey of wood turning, okay? You experience all these wonderful things, and sometimes you hit roadblocks and stuff, and that's fine. That's part of it, you know? So here we go. What I want to do is shape this down here. This will be the bottom. We'll need to make a finial later. All right, at the moment, what I want to do, I think, is get the top out here. Now, the top, it was so weird last night. I got home from work, and I started working on the top. No, I started working on this. I was trying to glue the cracks, you know, glue the sawdust in the cracks and stuff, because when I hammered this in here, I hammered this in here last night also, and it made it push open a little more, so it made this cracks split more. So it's a little bit unseemly, but that's okay, it's fine. So what I want to do is shape the bottom some, slope this off or something. Just shape it down a little bit. We'll leave the top off, but the top, what I was trying to get back to is the top. I was sitting there working on this, and all of a sudden I hear this pop. So the wood is continuing to contract and expand because of it being green. So all this wood is still green, and that's why I'm having trouble with it. But I'm going ahead and wood turning anyway, see? So, I mean, who's to say it might not form another crack later on after I send it to dish, right? It might 6 months from now form another crack. I do not know. And it's a high possibility it possibly can. So I feel a little bad about that, but we're just going to go ahead. We're making it. Those knots are pretty. Look at there. It looks like a face. Look at there. Look, 2 eyes. I reckon that can be a nose or a mouth. I don't know what that can be. Those are just offset. Anyway, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Well, anyway, so I'm going to shape this down a little bit. Some birdhouses are kind of like rounded off at the bottom. And I might just do that. I need to measure from here down to here. So I need to measure stuff. And before I put the top on here, I have to like temporarily put it on. And then measure down from the ceiling of the roof down 4 inches. I think it's 4 inches for the hole. For the hole for the birds to go into. And make it very presentable for the birds. You know, they need a nice clean hole. Because I read that it has to be smooth. You don't want splinters sticking out, okay? It needs to be smooth and silky. So, we'll go ahead and we'll make sure there's a nice, round, smooth hole. No splinters. So I have to do reading and refresh my memory on all the measurements and all the things I need to do with this. This is beautiful, though. This is gorgeous. Gorgeous stuff. Hold on a minute and let me get the measuring tape. I saw that thing a minute ago. I lost it. I can't find it. And then I saw it. And now I lost it again. All right. And another thing. On the inside, it said to leave it rough. It said do not smooth it out. So the babies, I reckon, have the walls, they can cling onto it a little bit. So it's a little rough on the inside on purpose. It's the way it's supposed to be. This is a beautiful lid, or a beautiful top, beautiful roof. See, this is the crack that formed. It had formed earlier, and then it popped more. In this area, it popped a little bit of a crack, too. So I got to fill that in. We'll do that a little later. It's nothing to worry about. It's nothing to get upset about or anything. Now this was fitting snug in here, but now that I brought it down, it's not fitting snug anymore. So we got it running true. And that's an important thing. So what I need to do is get a pencil. Because we're going to draw a line right there. That line. So that we have an idea where the bottom of the roof is going to be. So that when I measure from the bottom of the roof down here 4 inches, then I'll know where to put the hole, right? Right. I knew you'd agree. Because even if you don't, that's what I'm doing anyway. Okay. We got a measurement. We got to measure 4 inches down. Don't know that I want to mark on this one, though. Let's put it over here where these knots are. That's beautiful. So let's let this be the front where the hole's going to be. I think that's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah? You know, it would be cool if I can put it. But it looks like that's the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, let's do that. That's cool. I think that's a great idea. Why not? Let's bring it right here. That should be there. That's the 4 inches. I'm gonna put 4 inches. Okay. Now, I'm going to stop because I'm going to reread stuff and find out for sure and make sure that I do this right. Because I do not want to mess up. And I will be using, I was going to use a 1 1/4, and I even asked Dish about that, and she said yes, but I don't think she knew how big this is going to be, and it's telling me, you know, for bluebirds and stuff, it has to be 1 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and do, I don't know. Let me go and do some reading and stuff, and I'll be back. I'm back, at least just for the hole. It's supposed to be from the ceiling of the roof down to the top of the hole is 4 inches. So that'll put the hole right here just below this area, which will make it look like that's the nose and this is the mouth, right? That is so funny. That is so hilarious. Okay, we are going to see if I have a 1 1/2 inch Forstner bit. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do the 1 1/2 because most birds prefer 1 1/2, and she's up in Michigan, so Michigan's birds, I mean, you can use 1 1/4, but most birds overall like the 1 1/2 inch hole. So we're going to do, let's do, I want to make sure that I center it properly, because I'm going to be holding the drill by hand, and I don't want to. Let's do 1 1/2, let's see. 1 1/2, 1 1/2 is what, 3/4? What do you think? 3/4? 3/4 be, I'm trying to find where the center of the Forstner bit might be, so I can put that point on there, right? I don't know. Okay, here we go. Just all right, we got that. What I can do, that might be 1 1/4 right there, is take Dremel. Not too happy about doing this, but take Dremel and pull it, bring it out a little more. That's all I know to do right now. That made it much cleaner though. And I'll be back. Okay, I finally have the hole drilled. I had to do it off camera because I was having a lot of trouble. So I got it. It's a 1 1/2 inch hole. The only thing that got messed up a little bit is outside, and I may either sand it down like that or add some sawdust to it and fix it. It's the only disappointment. I didn't like that very well at all, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it, right? So let's see if we can't maybe fix it up a little bit. But then again, I don't know. I should just sand it because I don't want a bunch of glue over there where the birds go in and out, right? Right. What do you think? This is so funny. Look at there. Look at that face. Oh my goodness. I told you wood turning's fun. It's some fun stuff. Look at there. It actually looks like 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. How about that? That is awesome. This is awesome. Oh boy. I tell you what, you know, when I'm doing art and I see something, I just want to, you know, just capitalize on that. And I'm like, oh yeah, why not? You know, I'm not saying I'm the only one. I'm sure there's many people done it for years and years and years. So when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, why not? Let's do it right, the hole right there as a face. That is beautiful. That adds character to it. Look at that. Look at that. That is so beautiful. That is so awesome. Mm-mm-mm.